6 wins, 9 losses. That's how we're starting the conversation today. And it hurts. It hurts because if you look at the AL East standings right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are sitting at the bottom side by side with the Boston Red Sox, trying to figure out how the 2026 season unraveled so quickly. But the truth, the real truth, is that the standings are just a symptom. The diagnosis is a packed hospital. You look at the lineup, and it feels like someone threw a grenade into Rogers Center. Alejandro Kirk out, Anthony Santander out, Addison Barger out, and now, the final stab, George Springer. When Springer goes down, the mood in the dugout changes. The air gets heavy. It's that feeling of who's next. The pitching rotation has already taken a hit too, and today's move on the injured list is what we were all fearing. Shane Bieber to the 60-day IL. It's official. The wait is going to be long. The recovery is slow, and the hole in the roster just keeps getting bigger. But let's get to what matters, because the front office decided to act. The Blue Jays made a trade with the Chicago White Sox. The official announcement says we sent minor league outfielder Jordan Rich and a player to be named later, or cash in exchange for Lennin Sosa. Lennin Sosa. Pause to breathe. That name isn't going to make anyone jump out of their seat like we just landed Juan Soto. But we need to be honest about the current situation. Toronto is not in a position to be picky. The team is bleeding. And Sosa, well, Sosa is an interesting case. Last year, he hit 22 home runs. 22. In 140 games, with 518 at-bats. He posted an OPS plus of 100, which means he was exactly league average. Now, let me ask you something. In a lineup that just lost Springer and Santander, what would we get for a player who's simply average? Right now, average feels like an unreachable luxury for this offense. Sosa is versatile, plays in the infield, fills gaps, and has that power that showed up out of nowhere in 2024. But there's a detail nobody is really paying attention to, and this is where things get murky. The Sosa we're getting right now, the 2026 version, is in a slump. 12 games, 33 at-bats, and a .212 average. His OPS is .515. He hasn't hit a single ball over the fence yet this year. So the question hanging in the air, bothering every fan, is which Sosa is arriving in Toronto? The guy who crushes the ball, or the one who got swallowed by a rough start with the White Sox? But what if the problem isn't Sosa's talent, but the environment he was in? Chicago hasn't been an easy place to play baseball lately. Sometimes a 25-year-old just needs a change of scenery. He's coming to a team that, despite the injuries, still has a playoff structure, still has ambition. The fit makes sense because he's versatile. He fills the gap left by Barger, adds depth when the infield gets worn down. The cost was Jordan Rich. Let's be honest, Rich is an outfield prospect who, in the current Blue Jay scenario, was far from seeing the light of day at the major league level. Losing a minor leaguer for someone who's already proven he can hit 20 home runs in MLB is a risk you take 10 out of 10 times when your season is slipping away in April. The risk isn't talent, it's the timing. We don't have time to wait for Sosa to figure it out. Toronto needs production yesterday. If he takes 2 weeks to adjust his swing, that 6-9 record turns into 10-20. And then, my friends, there's no miracle comeback that saves you. The pressure on this kid is going to be massive. He's stepping into a team with a fan base already out of patience, watching pitchers drop one by one, with Bieber now officially out for at least 2 months. By the way, moving Bieber to the 60-day IL was a necessary maneuver to open a spot on the 40-man roster for Sosa. That's baseball chess. You sacrifice the hope of getting your ace back early to bring in a hitter who might, just might, help keep the team afloat. This is a survival trade. Don't expect Sosa to be a savior. He's a utility player with power. He's the kind of guy who, if he hits a 2-run homer on a Tuesday night against the Rays, has already justified the move. The problem is that Jays fans are so traumatized by the medical situation that any signing feels like too small a bandage for a wide-open wound. The cold analysis is this. The White Sox are in sell-off mode, and Toronto is desperate. When those two sides meet, deals happen. Toronto gets a young player with team control who has already shown a production ceiling. The White Sox get a young arm or bat for the future. But hold on, because there's a detail here that changes things. We talk about 22 home runs like it's a guarantee, but his OPS last year was .727. That's not elite. That's solid. Fans need to understand that Sosa is an upgrade over what we currently have on the bench, but he doesn't replace Springer. No one does. What this trade signals is that the front office knows the ship is sinking, and they're trying to bail water as fast as possible. It's about stopping the bleeding. If Sosa comes in and manages to be a .260 hitter with occasional power, he becomes a valuable piece even when the starters return. He becomes a luxury depth this team didn't have last year. If he keeps hitting .210 and struggling with strikeouts, well, then he's just another name on the list of 2026 frustrations. The reality is harsh. We're tied at the bottom of the division. Our best players are on crutches or icing their shoulders. The arrival of Lennin Sosa is a bureaucratic, necessary, and slightly ambitious move. It's a bet on the physical upside of a young player who has had one good year. There's no room for blind optimism here. The Toronto Blue Jays are in crisis mode. And Sosa? He's a guy who just got thrown into the middle of fire with an extinguisher we're not even sure is full or empty. At the end of the day, we're trading an uncertain future in Jordan Rich for an urgent present. That's the price of trying to stay competitive in a division that doesn't forgive injuries. Whether Sosa finds his rhythm again in Toronto, only time and his swing adjustments will tell. But one thing is certain, he'll get his opportunity. With his current lineup, he'll probably be in the starting lineup tomorrow. Good luck, Sosa. You're going to need it. And so are we. Let me know in the comments. Do you think 22 home runs in the past guarantee anything in this anemic offense? Or is this just another desperate move? Does Bieber go into the 60-day IOA heavier than the arrival of this reinforcement? We'll talk in the next crisis. Or, who knows, maybe after a win, if those still exist.